Welcome back, dear students and friends. You know that we have started with chapter number 3, Plant Kingdom. We were discussing this chapter 3, Plant Kingdom. In this Plant Kingdom, there are different types of classes which falls under the Plant Kingdom. From these different types of classes, we have finished with algae. We have also finished with bryophytes. We have also finished with pteridophytes. And now today we have to learn regarding the gymnosperm. So let's discuss regarding the gymnosperm. The fourth class of a plant kingdom is the gymnosperm. Here the previous what we have discussed, that is algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, they are the seedless. They don't have a seed. They don't produce the seed. But the gymnosperm, they are with seed. They produces the seed. Okay, so what is the meaning of gymnosperm? Gymnosperm, the first meaning of the gymnosperm, it is derived from a Greek word. The first meaning gymnos. Gymnos means naked. And the second is the sperma. These two words, gymnos and the sperma, they join together and form a gymnosperm. The meaning of gymnos is a naked. The meaning of sperma is the seed. That indicates that here in this category of a plant, you can find a naked seed. So that's why we are calling it as gymnosperm. Here what is the characteristic? One characteristic I have already told you that. Here the seeds are naked. In other term you can say that here the ovules are not covered or not enclosed by ovary wall. This is a feature which differentiates it from the angiosperm. In case of angiosperm, that we will discuss in the next session, in case of an angiosperm, the ovules are covered by ovary and the seeds are covered. But here, the opposite characters are found. The ovules are not covered by ovary and the seeds are naked. The plants which falls under the gymnosperm are variety of sizes. Few plants are medium-sized trees. Few are the tall trees. Even the shrubs, they are also following into a gymnosperm. And now the most important question that you have to remember, the tallest plant which exists in the world that comes from the gymnosperm. So the tallest gymnosperm is Sequoia sempervirens, which is commonly called as redwood tree. The height of this redwood tree or the sequoia may go up to 150 meter. 150 meter, that means more than 450 feet. That is the tallest gymnosperm which exists in the world. Or you can say that that is the tallest plant that exists in the world. Sequoia sempervirens and the redwood tree. In the gymnosperm, we can also have a smallest gymnosperm. And the smallest gymnosperm is the Zamia pygmea. This is the Zamia pygmea is the smallest gymnosperm. So you have to remember which one is the tallest gymnosperm? Sequoia sempervirens. And the smallest gymnosperm is Zamia pygmea. Now when we look about the body organization, like a pteridophyte, it also possesses true root, stem and the leaves. Okay, pteridophyte also possesses the root, stem and the leaf. Bryophyte do not have a stem, root, leaf, but they have a root-like, stem-like, leaf-like structure. And like pteridophyte, the gymnosperm also have a root, stem and the leaves. Here the roots which you are going to be found, they are mostly it is a taproot. In few plants of the gymnosperm, the roots of the plant, they may form a symbiotic association with fungi. And this association with the fungi, it's called as mycorrhiza. So what is a mycorrhiza? Mycorrhiza is a symbiotic association between the gymnosperm plant and the fungi. Usually this kind of association is found in the pinus plant. There are also few examples of the gymnosperm like a cycas in which a specialized roots can be found. A special kind of a roots are found. And this kind of a roots called as coralloids. What is the characteristic of these roots? they have a nitrogen fixing characteristic that can take up the nitrogen from the atmosphere and can fix in the soil. So they also have a symbiotic association with cyanobacteria, what we are also calling it as blue-green algae. Okay, so mostly the taproot, but special type of roots can also be found, like in case of a mycorrhiza. Mycorrhiza is the symbiotic association of fungi and the pinus plant. Even in cycas, you can also find the specialized root called as coralloids, where there is a association of root with nitrogen fixing bacteria, what we call it as cyanobacteria. So such kind of roots can be found in the gymnosperm. Now that is regarding the root. Now regarding the stem which you can find in the gymnosperm may be of two type. It may be unbranched, like see here, this is the unbranched, there is no branch. Okay, unbranched stem is present, and this is a case where there is a different lots of branches are there. You can see here there are lots of branches of the stem. Okay, and that's why such kind of appearance of a leaves are there. Okay, so the unbranched stem can be found in a cycas. Cycas is an example where unbranched stem is found, and in the branched stem can be found in the pinus tree and the cedrus tree. So this is an example of a pinus tree where you can find a branched stem. Similarly, when you go for a leaf, the leaves may be simple or the compound leaf. What is the simple and the compound leaf? That we will learn in the morphology of plant, that we will learn in the another chapter. But you just have to remember it is either simple or a compound leaf. Even in a compound leaf, in a cycas, you can find a pinnate type of a leaves are present, because compound leaf can be of two types, pinnate and palmate. In a cycas, for the viewers, you can find the pinnate variety of a leaves. Now, what is the main characteristic of a leaves of gymnosperm? The main characteristic of leaves of gymnosperm is that they are well adapted to withstand in the extremes of temperature, humidity, and the wind. That means they can tolerate high temperature, and the differences in the humidity and the wind. Even in the conifers, conifer is the type of a gymnosperm. They have a specialized adaptation, like they have a needle-like leaves. And why they have a needle-like leaves? Because when it is like a needle, the surface area of it gets reduced. And it also, in addition to it, it also has a thick cuticle. Cuticle means the covering of a leaf. Okay, the upper covering and the lower covering is called as a cuticle. So they have a thick cuticle, and they have a sunken stomata. Stomata is present deep in the layers of a leaves. That is not present superficially. Usually, stomata are present superficially, but in conifers, they have a sunken stomata. So they have a stomata present in the deep layers. So why they have a such kind of arrangement? They have these conifers have these three arrangement, like needle-like leaves, thick cuticle, and the sunken stomata. Why they have? The needle-like leaves reduces the surface area. The cuticle that forms the covering to a leaves. The sunken stomata that prevents a loss of water. So these are the reasons why they can adapt with the extreme conditions, and for that extreme conditions they also adapt some changes in their structure, like these three changes can be observed in the gymnosperm. So such kind of a body organization you can find in the gymnosperm. Okay, usually roots are taproot. Sometimes you can also find the mycorrhiza and the coralloids. Stem may be branched or unbranched depending on the type of a plant. Leaves may be simple or compound. Sometimes special type of leaves are found, like in conifers, the needle-like leaves are found. And these plants can be well adapted to extremes of temperature, humidity, and wind. So that's all about its body organization. Now we will look after the life cycle of a gymnosperm. See here, the gymnosperms are the heterosporous. You know the meaning of hetero. Hetero means different. Spore means spore. Okay, that means they have two different kinds of spores are produced by this gymnosperm. Okay, and as the two different kinds of spores they are produced by gymnosperm, we are calling it as heterosporous. Now you know that it produces the two different kind of a spores. So which are the two different kind of a spore? Microspore and megaspore. And remember, these spores are haploid. Haploid, that means they possess n number of chromosomes. Now here the question comes, where these spores are present in the plant? So these spores are present in sporangia, or these spores are produced by sporangia, and that sporangia is present on sporophyll. These sporophylls, they arrange in a spatial manner, or they arrange spirally to form a spatial structure, like you can call it as strobili or the cones. I will show you in the last slide how the strobili and the cones look like. So here there are two kind of a spore, microspore and megaspore. So there are two kind of a strobili also, male and the female strobili, or the male and the female cones. Okay, they are present. Now these cones may be present on the same tree, or it may be present on the different tree. Same, the male and female cones present on the same tree, the example is Pinus, where you can find both are present on the same tree. But they are present on a different tree, the example is Cycas. Now, the strobili, which bear a microsporophyll and microsporangia, you can call it as male strobili. Micro means male. And those who bear the megasporophylls, then they are called as female strobili or the female cone. Okay, so remember, those who are bearing a microsporophyll, they are called as male strobili, and those who are belonging a megasporophyll, that is called as a female strobili, which may be present on the same tree, or it may be present on the different tree. Okay, so this is what happens. Now see, there are two kind of a spore, microspore and the megaspore. Microspore, that is you can say male, megaspore, that is a female. Okay, now what happens, this microspore, they develops into a gametophyte. They undergo a gametophytic generations, and this gametophytic generation is only confined to a limited number of cells, which ultimately produces pollen grain. So in short, you can say that the microspore gets converted to a pollen grain by a process called as meiosis. How? That we will see in the next slide. Now this pollen grain which is generated, that is released from microsporangia, and they are carried away by the air currents. The wind will carry it, and when it comes in the contact with a opening of an ovule, the fertilization process takes place. So in the fertilization, the pollen grain, they fuse together with an egg cell, and that leads to a formation of a zygote. Zygote develops, leads to a formation of embryo, and here the ovules converts into a seed during a fertilization process. Remember, during a fertilization, zygote develops into embryo, ovules develop in the seed. How the development occur, that you might going to learn in the standard 12. Here the seeds which are produced, they are not covered by any covering. That means the seeds are naked. This is the one of the important characteristic of a gymnosperm. Here I just want to show you the life cycle of this gymnosperm in the diagrammatic form. What we have learned theoretically in the previous two slides, that I will show you diagrammatically. See, remember, this is a plant. This is a plant. Like say, this is an example of Pinus. Pinus is an example of a gymnosperm. Here it possesses both kind of a strobili or the cones. So see here, it is a kind of a structure called as cone. Okay. Here it is a male cone. Okay, you can say, which is producing a microsporangia. This is the female one. You can call it as megasporangia. This microsporangia, they bears on microsporophyll. Megasporangia, that bears on the megasporophyll. It is an example of Pinus tree. So both male and female, they are present on the same plant. Now what happens? This microsporangia, they generates a microspore. This is the microspores. And microspore ultimately generates into a pollen grain. Remember, microsporangia, they produces the microspore, and microspore generates into a pollen grain. Now this, that is megasporangia, they generates a megaspore. Okay, the megaspore formation occurs by the megaspore mother cells, and here the process involved is a meiosis. So the pollen grain and the megaspore which are produced, both are haploid. Now the pollen grain which is produced, it is released, it gets liberated from the microsporangia. From the microsporangia it gets liberated, and the air will carry it. When it carries with the help of air, this pollen grain that comes in the contact with this megaspore, they comes like here it comes in the contact with a megaspore. From this pollen grain, the tube will develop, like such kind of a tube will develop, what we call it as pollen tube. From pollen tube, in the pollen tube there is a presence of a gamete, male gamete, you can also call it as sperm, that reaches to a female gamete present in this megaspore. Okay, and that leads to a fertilization of sperm and the egg cell, and ultimately there is a formation of zygote. This process, a fusion of male gamete and the female gamete, the process of fusion, they join together. That process is called as fertilization. So fertilization results into development of a zygote. Now what happens after that? Once the zygote is developed, that leads to a conversion into an embryo. The embryo that will grow, and ultimately the seed is going to be produced. Okay, the zygote is developed into embryo, the ovule develops into seed. Remember, when the zygote is developing into embryo, the ovule is converted into a seed, and thus the pinus seed is produced. From this seed, obviously, the plants or the seedlings are produced, and this plant grow up and the mature sporophyte plant is going to be produced. So such kind of a life cycle that occurs in the gymnosperm. So thus they reproduces. So this is the reproduction, how the reproduction that occurs in the gymnosperm. Okay, so this is the phase, this whole phase where it occurs in the haploid condition. So this is the N phase, and this is the phase where it occurs in the diploid condition, that means 2N. We will see here the haploid and the diploid phase, or you can say a sporophytic phase and the gametophytic phase that occurs alternatively. Hence its life cycle is also called as a type of alteration of generation. So here it's all about the gymnosperm. So what we have learned in the gymnosperm, that is, what are the characteristics or what is the meaning of gymnosperm? The main characteristic, they have a naked seed. Second thing what we have learned, that where it can be found, what is its body organization, which kind of stem, root and the leaves can be found in it, which is the tallest and the smallest gymnosperm, and how they reproduces, or what is the life cycle of this. Okay, so that we have studied in the gymnosperm. This is again one of the important question. So student, learn it thoroughly. Okay, keep learning, keep watching, like and subscribe this channel.